this is a fixed reader, and it's fixed to the ceiling, or it could be fixed to the wall. And it detects and it scans, and it's constantly sending out the RF signal that this mobile will send out by pulling the trigger on demand. Well, the fixed reader will constantly be sending out the RF and searching out these little guys right here, these RFID tags, these chips, and reporting back into the A2B cloud on the mobile as well to tell you exactly what you have and where it's at. They provide full visibility really into everything you have within your facility, you know, without any intervention really. You get to sit back with your coffee, look at what's happening real time, and track everything you're doing, kind of like our customers that we mentioned that took that practical approach to using mobile and introducing a few fixed RFID gateways.
Bobby, great point that you mentioned that it's always on. This is 24/7, 365. So there's no on-off switch for RFID. The readers are always on. They're always powered. So whenever there's a movement within your facility, first shift, second shift, third shift, weekend, the last known location will be recorded. So when you come into work Monday morning or whatever the schedule is, you'll know where everything is based on its last known location. You don't have to worry about, well, is it going to shut down? Is there maybe a batch process that has to take place overnight for those records to be updated? No, it's real-time updates. So you're going to know exactly at the point where you're checking where that last known location was for a particular asset. Huge, huge benefit, making your life a little bit easier.
And to lean into real-time updates, there's alerts that can be sent to you as well as items are going through a certain entry or exit point, or moving out of your warehouse or coming back in. Items that haven't been checked back in, that's also a capability as well. Now, as it relates to the zone-based approach, it's important that we discuss this a bit. So Dan had mentioned active RFID tags. He mentioned the cost associated in the maintenance of those tags. Well, with our approach, our practical approach here using passive RFID, with active RFID, you have to flood an entire environment in Wi-Fi and other technologies to keep those tags constantly beaconing, constantly being tracked within a facility. Now, with fixed RFID gateways, you can, you don't have to even run dedicated power. You can utilize power over Ethernet, something you can discuss with your IT group, so that you have just that one Cat6 type cable that's feeding your data to the A2B cloud as those tags being read, as well as feeding you power all in one cable, which is great for implementation. After you hang those readers, you can plug and play and really go ahead. Now, by taking this practical approach, we have a floor map here, and we have some red arrows, and the red arrows are dictating, as an example, of where we can place some of these fixed readers to really slim down where my assets could possibly be within my facility, so that I can quickly find them when necessary, and that I have a real grasp on my inventory. We've got our warehouse here. We've got a side door here that has a fixed gateway. We have a dock door similar to our North Sales video, which can have a gateway, so as items are leaving on the truck or leaving the facility, you're actively seeing that in A2B platform as the tags are being read by the fixed readers. And also, as items are moving throughout your facility, as my mouse pointer is here, as they go through other exit or entry points powered by the fixed RFID gateways, you can then see that, oh, it's no longer in the warehouse, it's out of the warehouse now. And as things progress forward, and as they go into different locations, you can see, okay, that item is now in the Newport conference room. That was its last seen. You know, it could be a week from now. Where was that laptop? Where was that projector? Where was that real critical asset? Okay, it was last seen in that sector. I can go in there. If I don't see it with my eyes, I can just enter the number in, use my Pro Locate feature by A2B, and quickly find that item, all using passive RFID.
Bob, you know what? This is a great slide for our audience, and you touched upon this at the very beginning. Maybe our audience, or the majority of our audience, has been using 1D barcodes or Excel spreadsheets or whatever the case it is, and perhaps they're considering an RFID application. Generally, when you're changing your entire business model to go to something new and different, the first question that's always asked is, well, geez, how much would this cost me? And how long would it take me to get a full understanding of all this technology? What Bobby had mentioned earlier, a practical approach. You could, let's say, if you look at this diagram, if you take a look at the production room at the top left there, you could put one fixed reader and maybe purchase one mobile reader, and maybe there's only 100 assets in that particular room. You could just start with that small little investment, and then you could test it and see how much of a benefit you're getting from it. How accurate are the readings? How accurate is the inventory for that one specific room as compared to another comparable room with the same number of assets in square footage? And then you can kind of comprehend and get a feel for, geez, I really am getting a return on investment, and I'm only covering 500 square feet. My whole warehouse is 100,000 square feet. What would be my return on investment if I flooded my whole warehouse with complete RFID technology? But it's a practical approach, and that's what we want to stress. You don't have to come in with a big bang and totally input an entire new business model. You can do a small practical implementation, do the full vetting process with the proper tag, maybe one fixed reader, one mobile, and then you can see the results, and then you can grow from there, and you can ease into this process without have to worrying about huge upfront costs, thereby minimizing your risk, but also getting the benefit of an RFID application.